Today, it gives me great pleasure to introduce three speakers who believe in the mission of public media as it relates to education. But let me tell you a little bit about our guests. As presidents for the Alliance for Excellent Education, Bob Wise's goal is to ensure that all students graduate from high school prepared for college, careers, and to be contributing members of society. Bob and the Alliance are leading voices for high school policy reform and confronting the dropout challenge. Juan Sepulveda is responsible for directing the White House initiative engaging Hispanic students, parents, families, organizations, and those working within the education system in communities nationwide. The goal is to improve the academic achievement of Hispanic Americans. Juan joined us in Washington, D.C. last fall as part of our focus on Latinos in public media, and we are pleased to be with us here today. 5 years ago, Pat Harrison became the president and CEO of CPB, and in that time, through the Public Awareness Initiative and My Source, helped stations engage with viewers, listeners, major donors, and partners to talk about the value of public media in their own words. In her role as CEO, she is committed to strengthening public media, to engaging with new audiences, and ensuring the viability of public media in this changing media environment. Please join me in welcoming our guests.
Thank you, Deb, and good afternoon. As you know, Deb is the Senior Vice President for Education at CPB and is going to be leading a very exciting initiative, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes. I'm so pleased to be here, Anita, with all of you, and especially with former Governor Bob Wise, who's made such a difference in the lives of so many young people through his Promise Scholarship Program, his Character Education Curriculum, and the Governor's Helpline for Safer Schools. His leadership actually resulted in a significant increase in the numbers of students completing high school and entering college. I'm also pleased that Juan Sepulveda has joined us. Juan has over 20 years of leadership experience as an advocate for communities and nonprofit organizations, but it's also interesting that he has very great ties to public media. He was the host of the weekly KLRN public television series Conversations, and I think he interviewed Paula Kerger at that time. And that was focused on the people and organizations making positive and innovative contributions to communities in San Antonio, South Texas, and the United States. And basically, Juan has spent his life putting kids and communities first. So thank you both for being here. This is a very, very important day as we identify the unique role that public media can play addressing the dropout crisis and dedicate significant resources to this challenge. Today, on behalf of CPB, I am so pleased to announce a new public media initiative that has the support, I'm proud to say, of both the Governor and Juan, whose counsel and participation will be important to this effort. More than 40 years ago, public media made a promise to the American people, a pledge to provide high-quality content that would actually inspire, educate, inform, and entertain. Content that would enhance and impact the lives of all Americans in so many positive ways. We also pledged to create a place where children would have a safe place to learn, a place where Americans of all ages could access lifelong learning for free, and a place where community and local issues are given the attention they deserve. We have kept that pledge, and now through CPB investments in innovation and technology, we're able to connect with current and new audiences in ways never possible before. 3 years ago, CPB developed a strategic framework for our investments, and we called this framework the 3Ds: digital, dialogue, and diversity. And nowhere are the 3Ds more important, more relevant, more timely than in their application to one of public media's core competencies, education. And what I'm about to announce today really epitomizes, I think, a very focused application of the 3 Ds. We all know that this country has a challenge when it comes to education. Our successive generation is in serious danger of not succeeding. Our dropout rate is increasing. Our students are falling behind their peers in other countries, especially in those important STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, and math. Public media, locally owned and operated, connected to America's communities and America's families, is uniquely positioned to make a difference for our children, our communities, and our country as we look at ways to confront the dropout challenge. So on behalf of CPB, I'd like to give you a preview of how we will be investing in this vision for the future. Our new exciting initiative is called Project 12. It is public media's commitment to Operation Graduation, a $10 million investment through public media working with key partners in 12 specific communities to address the dropout crisis and help students graduate. Why public media? Well, for many reasons. We are a respected and tested provider of educational programming and materials. Our work with high-risk children has been evaluated as effective in preparing children to learn. We're connected, as I said, to community. This is a community problem that has become a national challenge. Through Project 12, we can raise and sustain awareness of the seriousness of the dropout crisis, its impact on communities. We can enhance the learning experiences of at-risk youth in so many ways, and many of you are doing this, I know, right now, working with young people on digital media education. We can increase the learning and developmental capacities of at-risk youth to support their future academic success. And we can engage with what I call youth influencers. Actually, everybody in this room is a youth influencer. Whether you know it or not, young people watch you. And where you are in a position of leadership with public media, you have the power to change and impact their lives, as do parents, as do mentors and volunteers, and of course, teachers. The bottom line is we have got to regard these kids as our kids, belonging to our communities, deserving a chance in life, just as we want a chance for our own children. So there's going to be a very broad menu from which stations can choose, working with community partners, teachers, volunteers, youth, and parents. Project 12 is going to be launched on a national level with advocates and spokespersons and a commitment from public media to making an impact on the dropout rate by helping kids graduate. This is really the sneak preview, what I would call the soft launch. We're going to be working, of course, with PBS and APS and NPR, and we'll have many more details. But I wanted to take this opportunity at NEVA to let you know that this is coming. In December, we released an RFP to identify stations to help us manage this national initiative. And as a result of that process, we are now in negotiations, they're almost done, with 9 Network, formerly KPTC in St. Louis, and I'm so pleased that Jack Galmish is here, WNET in New York, and in an advisory capacity, KQED in San Francisco. So they will be working with all of you to ensure our impact is measurable and sustainable. In the next 2 weeks, we're going to release another RFP. That one will invite stations to submit their proposals to become one of the 12 community hubs in markets with the highest dropout rates. These stations, television and radio, will work in partnership with local schools, parents, Board of Public Media, and organizations like the Alliance for Excellent Education, like America's Promise, to help students stay on track through the 12th grade. Now, we know, of course, that the dropout crisis impacts far more than 12 schools and communities, but we are beginning with the highest need communities. However, we will also be working with NCME as part of Project 12, Operation Graduation, to provide grants ranging from $5,000 to $15,000 that will be available to any CPB-funded public radio, television, or joint licensee station. Our official launch, Project 12, will be in late February, and at that time, we will be identifying the stations and further define the depth and breadth of the project. We're also planning a leadership meeting to coincide with APP's Capitol Hill Day in April. Ladies and gentlemen, at a time when some are actually questioning the relevancy and importance of public media in a saturated media environment, we can point to a track record of proven benefits delivered to the American people. Through our high-quality content and our commitment to community, we are going to be doing our part on the part of the nation's children so that they can realize their dreams of success and become contributors to our civil society. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you and my very valued partners in public media through America's public media stations on behalf of our nation's young people. Thank you. A real incredible leader, Governor Bob Weiss.